Cheers, guys. Epix911, welcome to the Elitist Geek, and a video just based on the events of earlier this week, the customer service debacle and rant video, my experience, those of you who've come forward to me with your own experiences, mostly negative with HTC Vive customer service. And it's mostly been Vive, guys, because I understand a lot of the channel has been pretty much Vive-centric, with the exception of the news ones, because that's all I have, right? As soon as the Rift comes, and you better believe when the Sony VR is available, they're both going to be in my possession. We'll broaden the content out to gameplay on them as well. In this video, I want to talk about the warranties, because a lot of you guys have, you know, the common thing is that you haven't had common experiences with HTC customer service. You've had different experiences, and you guys remember what I said in the other video, and I mean that so sincerely and so freaking strongly, and that is, we are the VIPs, right? We bought their technology. We took the gamble that it was going to be the technology for us. Some of us bought both. You know, we're consumer early adopters, investors, whatever the hell you want to call us. I term us VIPs, right? And that's the other thing. We haven't been treated like VIPs. So what do the warranties say about the different experiences you guys have had? So I spent a few hours this morning going over both warranties. You know, it's not something I would normally do in this kind of detail. I do for work. You know, as an IT senior manager, I look at legal documents all the time when I sign contracts, but if they're too legalese, they go to legal, they will then advise me, then I will sign, right? But I thought it was important to look at both of them within the context of the experiences that, you know, you and I have had this last week. So what does HTC Vive and Oculus Rift, what do they talk about in their warranties? What kind of time period? They both give us basically a year. All right. HTC Vive calls a year 12 months. Oculus Rift calls a year. Where I think the Rift warranty is slightly better is that they say, look, if something happens in week 52, essentially the last week of your warranty, and we have to replace your HMD, you get 90 days. You basically get a year or 90 days, whichever is greater. Well, obviously in week 52, 90 days is greater. So from that aspect, you're getting basically 1.25 years from Oculus Rift. Only a year from the HTC Vive people. All right. They both talk about the shipment costs, but here's the interesting thing. They only say you may be asked to pay it, right? Because I know some of you have said that you've been asked that as well, or all of you actually have been asked to pay the shipment fee. In their own warranties, and I'll quote you HTC Vive first, they say, you may be responsible for costs in connection with the return of the product or accessory to HTC. Likewise, Oculus says you may be required to pay the cost of shipping the product to us. This isn't a set in stone thing, right? And obviously that gives escalation, for example, leeway to do what they did for me, right? But just know your rights, and that's what, hopefully, if you get anything out of this video, and if you're somebody who's having issues like I did, or some of the others on this channel are, let's just arm ourselves with some information, right? How about that diagnostic fee that a couple of you have mentioned to me that I was asked about? Some of you haven't been asked to pay that. It doesn't exist. It's not in their warranty at all. Neither Vive's or Rift's warranty make mention of it. Okay? Here is, you know, it's a little thing, but it's something that I advise you strongly to do, okay? For house insurance purposes, I've taken pictures of most of the stuff in this house. I track the serial numbers. I didn't do that for the Vive, but I strongly recommend, based on what I've gone through and some of you have gone through, that we start doing that. Take a picture of your unit when you buy it. Take a picture of the unit when you send it back for repairs. Include a newspaper, something that proves what day it is, right? You know, like a newspaper article with a picture of a current event, something like that. Like those weight loss people do, right, in those pictures. Because it could get damaged during shipping. The guy opening it on the other side, or gal, could drop it and not mention that. These things that could happen, and it's a way to protect yourself. So I strongly recommend you take a picture, okay? The other thing is both supply chains may eventually extend out into retail, and I know Rift is starting to appear in some retail outlets. If you have the opportunity to purchase retail, do it. Don't buy direct, because you can benefit from the usually better return customer service from retail outlets than you do from, someone like Oculus or HTC direct. You're also going to benefit from things like extended warranties, which I usually don't agree with, but we'll get into that, okay? So if you have the means, and a case in point real quick is Walmart Canada. So here in Canada, and I can't comment for Walmart USA, you'll often be able to get something returned or fully refunded even if you don't have a receipt. Why? Because at the time of purchase, the point of sale terminal tracked the serial number, right? So that's something that Walmart does, and you can make fun of them and make fun of the people at Walmart videos. You can't deny that once you buy something at Walmart, they're more or less on your side, right? As a customer, you get the respect and the ability to, does it get abused? Probably. But for those of us who don't abuse those systems, at least you're being treated right. So if it starts becoming available in retail channels, that's where I recommend you guys do your purchasing, okay? Different state laws are going to apply as well. Make yourself familiar with state laws. I know here in Canada, the provincial laws. Ontario has really good consumer protection laws. The European Union, standard for us in North America is 1 year. I can't comment on Asia or Australia, but the European Union, it's 2 years is standard, right? And both of the warranties for the Rift and the Vive mention that. If you're in the EU, it's 2 years. So, what about extended warranties? Now that we're talking, I kind of touched on that, right? Normally I say no. If it's proven technology, something like a TV, if it's going to fail in the first year, it's probably going to fail in the first year. And extended warranties probably aren't worth it. Likewise, you buy something like a $100 inkjet printer. Probably not worth it to pay 30% of that cost for an extended warranty. Probably going to be cheaper to just buy a new unit, especially if it lasts you a few years. It's just not cost effective, right? For unproven technology, however, if friends and family were to ask me, and you guys were to ask me, this is one instance where I would say yes, buy the extended warranty, because it's not proven yet, right? They've done their own quality assurance testing, but let's face it, we are ultimately the beta testers for their product because it's new technology. So just as I said, go through a retail channel. If that retail channel also offers you an extended warranty, do it. Take it, right? Likewise, if you have a Visa or MasterCard that offers you something, use that protection as well. That's super important in my opinion. The other thing I want to touch on is staying professional. And I know that's tough. God, do I know that's tough, because I'm a freaking emotional guy and I get pissed off all the time about different little things. But one thing I always pride myself on is trying to basically maintain focus, maintain confidence and calm that I'm tackling the issue at hand. While I have no doubt it was your name dropping and your assistance in this channel that ultimately got me that free, HMD replacement, which is on its way, I can also confidently say that it was my transcript, not filled with mother truckers and cockadoodle suckers. I maintained my calm. I was professional throughout. I stood my ground, and I'm not saying don't stand your ground, don't get walked over. You can be firm and you can be demanding and you can still be polite and, have some sense of social etiquette. Be firm, make your point, and if it doesn't work, you escalate. That's would be the advice that I would impart, right? So if you have to accompany your case with a transcript, you'll feel confident in being able to say, look, okay, this transcript proves what I'm saying. I was professional throughout. This is how your customer service treated me. You want to be able to do that. You don't want a customer service where you're dropping, F-bombs all over the place, telling them that you're going to rain, hell, fury, and fire upon them, the likes of which their grandchildren are still going to suffer under. It might feel good and cathartic for a few seconds, but trust me, it's probably not going to get you the results. And there's a kind of a cheesy old English expression that says it's easier to attract flies with honey than it is with vinegar. And you know, what's that really saying? Don't be an asshat. And that's not to say you can't be pissed off. Trust me, ask my wife. She heard the F-bombs, the mother truckers, and the cock-a-doodle-doo suckers. She heard that all. But I tried to rein it in when I actually spoke to somebody, right? So the last thing I want to talk about, and this one is a really important item and it often gets overlooked, right? It's surveys. I hate surveys, whether it's in my professional life or in my personal life. Don't those guys always seem to call when you're having dinner? They tell you it's 2 minutes, but really it's a 30-minute survey. I don't got time for that, right? But I want to let you in on a little secret. For those of you in the know, it's not a secret, obviously. But for those who don't, as a senior manager, I want to stress this point. Surveys are super critical, especially customer service surveys. A lot of senior managers and executives know exactly the type of negative surveys that they're getting. A lot of them have their compensation and their bonus packages directly tied into the results of those customer service surveys. They have quality and ISO implications, all kinds of things. But you better believe that what you put in those surveys, far from just being tossed into the trash bin, most big companies will act on that information. And they will take it to heart, and they will make sure that things get rectified, right? Or heads will roll. So if you get a survey, and I've got one that's sitting on my computer waiting for me to fill out, please do it. Fill it out for these guys, right? Because it will hit the right channels, and it will ultimately cause things to change and be better, so that a year from now, when you guys and me, we're the veteran VR users, right? When the noobs start purchasing this stuff, you know, we were the guys that fought in the trenches to make that better for them. They're going to benefit. And, you know, maybe they're the guys sitting back right now waiting for all of this to happen. Fine. But we shouldn't be punished for being early adopters, right? I don't mind making things better. They got to be fair, right? So hopefully that's helped you guys, just giving you a little bit more information. If you have any questions, let me know, and please keep coming forward. I want to hold these guys' feet to the fire. I'm going to do the same with Sony when Sony releases theirs, right? We got to keep these guys honest, and we got to have them support the product that we, again, are investing in. This is the last time I'm going to say it in this video and probably any other video. We are the frickin' VIPs. Treat us as VIPs, because we, not the people who are sitting back, took you at your word that your VR solution is the one, right? Please treat us with respect. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys. Cheers. Until next time.